Hello, my name is Jorge Matamoros, and today I'll be presenting about how professional album reviews get their authority. So, whenever genre is mentioned, it is usually assumed one is talking about a type of art form, be that a book, music, or moving picture. Some examples of this are genres such as sci-fi, punk rock, mystery, and horror. In this context, genre will be used in line with the definition that Devitt, Reef, and Bawarshi use. Genres are the typical rhetorical ways of responding to a situation that repeatedly occurs within a scene. The community of professional music critics use various genres to communicate their opinion on a certain piece of music to not only the critics within the community, but to the people outside of the community as well. Some critics choose to communicate their opinions via internet video platforms such as YouTube, and others through the more traditional written review. Most written reviews are uploaded onto websites where they are available to the general public. One of the most common forms of written music reviews is the album review. So from analyzing the written album review as a genre, I came up with a few defining characteristics. So from the genre analysis, I arrived at a question. How do the professional music critics gain the authority they do in their writing? Well, to answer that question, it is important to understand that here a certain distinction shall be made. That the key differences between professional reviews and reviews that are made by non-professionals are mainly two things: money and rhetoric. A necessary requirement to being a professional in any field, in fact, comes from being able to make money from your field of expertise in a legitimate manner. Likewise, rhetoric in a professional discourse community should differ from that of a non-professional in that field. Alas, money is one-dimensional and does not really add to the conversation of what makes professional album review special. So money aside, rhetoric can be used to determine what makes professional album review so special by assessing how rhetoric is used inside the community via the community's goals, writings, and techniques. So to answer this question, I used textual analysis to see if I can get some insight into how professional music critics use rhetoric in their album reviews to gain authority. So I did this by using the site Metacritic, where I was able to get reviews from both professionals and non-professionals. The text analyzer I used was at voyinttools.org, and it was used to report the frequency of words and the total amount of words in each of the reviews. The album used for analysis was Mount Erie's A Crow Looked at Me. 5 professional reviews and 5 user reviews for this album were pulled from Metacritic.com and came from sources that are listed in the slide. Each review was analyzed for word count and unique word count, and the resulting data was put into the Excel table, which is also on the slide. Once all data was stored inside the table, an average for both total amount of words and amount of unique words was calculated for professional and non-professional reviews. Using those averages, the number for how many times higher in value the professional review averages were from the non-professional reviews were calculated. One of the biggest challenges faced was finding a way to show how professional and non-professional reviews differed at their core through just numbers. There were comparisons that could not be made simply because the software had no built-in functionality for it. For example, using a text analyzer to compare number of adjectives in each review was a metric that was wanted, but that could not be fulfilled. One of the most jarring and most apparent result was the word count discrepancy between that of a professional album review and that of a non-professional. On average, professional music reviews had almost 6 times more words than that of a non-professional. Another blatant disparity was the amount of unique words per sentence. On average, professional writers were able to fit in 5 times more unique words than their non-professional counterparts. So what this means to me is that based on the results, professional music critics gain their authority through knowledge. The fact that critics were able to write way more and to go much more in detail shows that their knowledge about music is vast and most likely greater than that of a normal everyday music enthusiast. This implied knowledge gives readers a feeling that they can trust the writer. This is an example of a rhetorical device called ethos. Ultimately, Professional music critics use their knowledge and vocabulary to establish an ethos, and thus allows that to gain credibility and authority as someone that can accurately judge the quality of music.